Happy Monday. We're gonna do a live stream today. I may put binding on a couple quilts that I finished trimming earlier. I also got a couple quilts ready for work. I am working currently on this beautiful quilt. Ain't she beautiful? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Okay, so I also have, so you can see maybe, I also have another view of this quilt. I have already been working. The reason I've been working already is because I don't want to do a very long live stream. And sorry, let me show you the quilt. Sorry, I'm moving the camera. The reason I wanted to work on this quilt is because I am donating this one. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she beautiful? So welcome to the live stream. I'm Lorena Cadena. If you don't know, Lorena's Quilting is my channel. Trying to be more professional. Trying to be more professional. Yes. Welcome to the channel. There's nothing professional about this channel other than my quilting. Try to be professional. And I'm trying to do a professional live stream, which who knows how that goes. Because sometimes things just don't work out the way I want them to when I'm working. Sorry if I'm moving too much. Let me share with you the quilting. And let me share with you, don't step on the camera, Lorena. This is the pattern we're putting on her. And then this is what that pattern looks like when it's on the quilt. So hi, if you're here, hopefully you can hear me well. I do have my, I can put it down now. I do have my, what was I gonna say? Anyway, I don't know what I was gonna say. I lost track of time. So I'm gonna put you here for a second. I need to look on my computer. Hi, Nana, how are you? Hi, everybody. Hi, Becky. Hello, Marilyn. I'm gonna put your name right there. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Everybody, hi, how are you? How is Monday for you? How's your Monday going? I've had some hard weeks. But anyway, give me a second. I'll let you watch the long arm for a minute. And then I'm going to go on here and I'm going to check my computer to see. Oh, Father, have mercy on me, right? Okay, hold on. What I want to see is if I am live here on the... I'm not live yet. Anyway. Let me just check the content here. Let me see if I'm live. And then I wanted to kind of share a couple things that I've been working on. So I'm kind of excited about what I want to share. I went and bought binding fabric. I found out that I don't have binding fabric. I do, but not enough. So I do. Also too, I'm letting you know that when I do binding, I don't iron it and make sure that it's nice and ironed, and I don't have the energy for that. I just put it together, make it into a roll. Hi, Audrey, how are you? You're working on my blog. Oh, you're testing some blocks. That's a blessing. That is really great. You guys are working on, okay, so this is what Audrey, I think I'm saying your name right now. Right. This is what she's working on. This is what Clarissa is working on. Let's see. And I'm working on this tree quilt. I also wanted to know, I was going to do a lot of embroidery tomorrow. Do you want to do a live stream with embroidery? Would y'all be interested in that? I have quite a bit of embroidery work. I have a hat job, I have a towel job, and I have business shirts that I need to do. And I don't know, would y'all like to change it up? Make it something different? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I've already long armed quite a bit of this quilt. And the reason is I was trimming the quilt tops that I finished a couple days ago. I haven't been up here since last Monday. Yeah, I haven't been up here for a bit. I've not been in the mood. Anyway, I was working. Let me share with you what I have been working on. I have a client who wants this quilt to be restored. So what I did is the fabric was all shredded. So I put new white fabric, new lavender. I also need to put another strip of lavender and another strip of white to recreate the quilt exactly like it is. This client had a wreath applique. Can I come up close? Let me see. Up close. What I did is I cut the wreath out with the fabric that it was on, or the applique, and then reappliqued it under so that it would be on this new fabric, because the fabric that it was on, it was like destroyed, like it was falling apart like paper. So the other day, let me share with you, the other day I finally finished appliquing the top wreath, the outside, and appliquing the inside. And let me show you my beautiful work. Look at my beautiful work. Hello, Jeanette Harris. How are you? I'm doing some charity quilts. I love that. Charity quilts are a blessing. So yeah, I'm working on this, and let me share with you. You can't even see my stitches. I think I'm a really great hand applicator now. I used to not be. I took a couple classes and I've learned a lot from the teacher. She uses applique needles, I don't. But what happened is, let me share with you this. I was thinking, maybe y'all can give me some counsel. I was thinking, ouch, I have a needle there. I was thinking, I don't know if you can see this. Can I get you close up? Here, I'm going to get this camera here. Let me show you. So do you see how that has really bad holes? So I was thinking of using embroidery thread to cover the holes, and it did not work. I did it here on this stem, and I replaced the stem, but I think the color is too dark. And so I guess I was trying to do this. Do you see, like there was a hole there? And I was trying to like add extra thread. It looked, when I did, I was doing hot cross hatching on it. And when I did cross hatching, the fabric just disintegrated. It just like fell apart. So, okay, let me share with you this. Hold on, I'm gonna bring you here so you can watch the long arm. I went and I bought some fabric at the fabric store just the other day. I went to the San Antonio Quilt Guild, and I bought some fabric at Hobby Lobby, and they only have very specific fabric, and so they only had this solid green, and that's the lightest green that I could have used. So I went to a fabric store and I bought this fabric. I was thinking if I needed to replace some leaves, and I hope I don't. I literally, this fabric is so washed out. This quilt, this applique is literally 53 years old. It was created in 1972, and it was given as a wedding present to my client. when she sent it to me, it was all shredded up. And so she's my favorite client. So I found this fabric hoping that it would match this. Because I think, to be honest, that this is a version of this, but because it's 50 years later, now it looks like this. From the color just falling apart. I also got this fabric. I think if I need to replace leaves, I could use this. I was so discouraged because I finally did all the applique on the outside of the rim, and I did all the applique on the inside, and my plan of attack was to just get embroidery thread and just kind of like cover the holes. But when I did that, the fabric just... So I was like, oh. Now I'm going to have to take it apart, remake the stems, and then replace every stem. And then I was like making excuses. Maybe if I use it throughout the whole wreath, it'll look just right. No. So I'm going to have to take this apart and reapplique it. But I think, and then I wanted to go and do purple. Let me see. Some beautiful purple around the applique. But because I'm going to spend time replacing all the stems, I may just not do that. But I told my client that this is really a beautiful kind of labor of love. I get frustrated with clients that tell me to take my time. Come on. They tell me to take my time. I had a client a while back. She asked me to do an applique restoration or replica of a quilt that her grandmother made. And initially, she's like, take as much time as you want. And then she started like, when are you going to get it done? When are you going to finish it? And I'm like, this stuff just literally, let me show you the time frame. I'll show you how I'm managing the time frame. I have here, Holy Spirit. Let me see. I'll look at your comments in a minute. So let me just share with you. Maybe I'll put it on the camera on the bottom, so you can see it better. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna go. So I started at 10:28 p.m. and I started here at this point, and I appliqued all of this. Hold on, let me see. I appliqued all of this, and I went down, and I appliqued all the way up and down. And in that time, in just that time, and I guess give or take 30 minutes, I only did this much. From here to here. And so I was timing it as I was going along. Let me show you another area, which makes me laugh. Where are you? Okay. So let me show you another space. Let me see if I could get my camera to focus on what I need it to focus on. Okay. So from here, I started at 4:15 and I traveled and then I have a little spot where I started. And I traveled all the way down to here, up, locked it down into here, and it's 4:50. So let's say 45 minutes, and 45 minutes I only did to here to here. And that's just on the outside. But yeah, I love my client because she brought me the quilt. She gave me this quilt. She sent it to me probably in the beginning of January. She sent it to me in January, and I was so busy in the beginning of the year that I didn't have time to open the box. I didn't have time to even look at it. And when I did look at it, I was like, whoa, what am I getting myself into? And I'm promising to have it ready for her. So I also, as I'm doing the applique, I'm going to custom quilt it for her. and I'm gonna have it maybe custom quilted for her, and then I'm also going to go and bind it for her. So I'm finishing from top to bottom, and I'm a blingy person. I want to put like crystals on it. Come on, let's put crystals on it. But she said that she's going to give that quilt to her son. All right, hold on. So anyway, yes. How are you, Clarissa? Are you doing better with the surgery and everything? Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Jeanette Harris. Hello, Kevin, if I didn't say your name. Nice hearing from y'all and seeing y'all. Give me a minute, okay? I'm going to look at something. I need to see if on this computer... I want to see if I could see if there's live streaming. There you are. Let's see. Done. Automatic. Medium. So let me see. I need to put, there we are. We're saved. Okay. What I want you to do, oh God. Hey, no. When you bark in here, it echoes. Let me see. Let me move you over here so that you can see what I'm doing. Shoot. Should I move you over here in the center? Sometimes when I move you guys, I get kind of nervous that I don't want to drop something. I don't want to mess up. Oh, thank God that camera. If you guys would have just seen what happened, you guys would have been laughing at me. All right, let me see. I want to move this here. I'm going to move this here so we could see, you could see me and see what I'm doing. Right now I have you on the camera that's not moving around. The reason I have you there is so that you don't get dizzy. I remember doing videos before, and the client or people on YouTube were like, your videos are making me dizzy. I'm like, oh, you know how hard it is for me to get that video? Anyway, let me move over here. I need to put the bobbin on. Let me see if this can give you a better visual. Then move it up. Can you see me? Hi, how are you? Ugh. I'm getting better at the live streaming, right? I think. Y'all tell me. Is it getting better? Let me see. So, let me move this. I'm going to also switch the camera. So how are you guys? Truly, how are you? Let me make sure. Automatic. I'm using a beautiful starry night on this. Come on. How many of you are going to the San Antonio Quilt Show or Houston Quilt Show? I just went to the San Antonio Quilt Show. Let's see if you can see. Do you see all that beautiful quilting? Okay, let's see. I'm sorry about all the surgery. Wow. Thank you. I know, I'm really good at applique now. Who would have thought? So I wanted to see if you guys wanted to do binding with me. Yay! Ah. I got one camera that I'm moving around, so I'm going to show you that quilt. Or up. I think applique is like binding. It really is like binding. Front door was locked. Okay. Now you can see the long arm in different areas. Let me share with you the binding I have. Let me move that camera. Holy Spirit. Oh. I think I should do, hold on, let me move you. I'm trying to move you while you have a different visual of a camera because, well, you should just see all the movement I'm creating. At the same time, I'm getting something set up so I could get it ready. How are you? Okay, so is that blinding y'all? That light in the back? Let me read y'all's comments. Let's see how y'all are doing. Yes, Betty. I'm making binding now. All right, awesome. Let's bind together. Let's do this. Okay, so I went to the store. Look at all the binding fabric I got. I thought maybe solids would be better. One of the things I like doing lately is I like alternating binding. So if I have, for example, in it, when you put it together, it's so beautiful. So put these two together. It helps you get your projects done. Y'all help me get my quilts done too. But I was gonna do some embroidery work sometime this week. I was thinking that maybe tomorrow, but I have a client dropping off a couple quilts. And sometimes, like today, I have one of the sweetest clients that I went to a quilt store. I have one of the sweetest clients, and she, I was taking her, let me get my words together. I got together with her so I could give her her quilt because I finished her quilt top, and I wanted to, she went on a trip, and so I had her quilt top for a month, like holding it here, waiting for her. And I went to see her, and I love my clients, and some of them I consider friends, even though I feel like I need to be cautious about that. Well, anyway, we spent time together. She was asking me questions about her quilt because she gave me another one to long arm, and we were just kind of there, okay? So I was thinking that I was going to come home really early after I talked to her because our appointment was early in the morning, and I was there. We spent so my appointment was at 10:30, and I spent to about 10:30, 11, 12, 1, 2. I spent 4 hours with her. And I had a lunch appointment with a friend, and I had to cancel with my friend because I was spending a lot of time with my client. So I forced myself to come up here to get something done because I got here at 3, because where I had to go, it took me like an hour to come back. But anyway, yeah, that was a lot. Okay, so let me show you this. I'm going to work on this quilt. Let me see your comments. Are you putting binding on the quilts you're sending me? Yeah, maybe. I trimmed it already because before it wasn't trimmed. Now, let me see. I have one downstairs that is already bound. If not, well, no, I was going to do the binding. So you don't have to buy the fabric. You made me laugh. Okay, so the one I was sending you, let me see. Oh, y'all make me laugh. Okay, so the one I was sending you is this one. So now that we're here, I was thinking, where's the other fabric? I have another thing of fabric somewhere. I already did the binding on one of them, and I used this specific binding. Hold on. Let me do my job. Let me move that long arm or that quilt. All right. So let me roll it, get it ready. One thing I like about doing live streams is I get to chat with y'all while I'm working, and I get, oh, wow. Oh, whatever. Not saying nothing. It's perfect. It's great. The quilt shifted on me somehow. Okay. Let me get the... So, let's see. And let me see how many people are here. Because only a couple people comment on the usual. Let's see. There's maybe 20 people here. And only maybe 10 of y'all are making comments, which is fine. Some of you just like stalking. No, I'm just playing. Some of you just quiet, and that's okay too. So let me get this. The way I say it. Let's see. Let me work on it. So I've noticed that these quilts are short sometimes, meaning the batting is short. I thought I cut it perfectly well when I was doing the 24-hour live stream. Now my question is, do y'all want me to do another live stream, but stay on live for like a couple hours and then knock off? I think it'd be a lot to be live streaming for 24 hours. Y'all be tired of me. Because it's just honestly rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Let me see. Okay, so if you see what I'm doing, I need to overlap. I need a piece of fabric here. I changed my scissors and I got myself these big, I don't know if you can see, these big scissors. I really do like them. I got them at a quilt show. I don't know if the guy was called the Scissor Guy. You see, like these, they're big. And then I need a little strip over here for this little corner, just to fill the corner. All right. No. All right. Let's see what we're doing. All right, let me see your comments. So no, you don't have to buy fabric. You don't have to buy fabric at all. I'm taking care of it. I was going to send you guys the quilt top just trimmed, but I had, I don't know, maybe I'm annoyingly controlling. Could that be a thing? I just think like if I'm giving you a gift, it's not fair to ask you guys to fix the gift. Hold on. I need a big piece of batting. It's not going all the way across or all the way down. No. So I'm going to use like little scraps, which is annoying. But the good thing about using the little scraps is that the client, if you're doing this for a client, the client will never know. Look how little that scrap is. Can you see it? Let me see. Maybe. Can you see what I'm doing? All right, let me lift it up. Oh, God. That's not what I want you to do. Please, little camera. All right, look at the little strip. Yeah, you could literally Frankenstein a little tiny strip because I think that's all I need to get it to where I need it. And I know it's going to move my face. I'm sorry. Hi. Now it's following me. Now it thinks like, now you're being a stalker camera. I love these little cameras. They're really great cameras, but I don't know how to get them to, the instructions would be nice, right? I should read my instructions. So you literally use like a little tiny strip like this. Look at, it looks like I have a camera guy, right? But I don't. Let me move you down so you can see the quilt. So you could use like little tiny strips. So I recommend if you're a long armer to save your scraps. And then if the quilt has a lot of color. Sorry, you lost me, huh? Stupid camera. Cámara, come on. Trabaja bien. Did it get it? Do you see me? You see at least the quilt. All right, let me see what everybody's saying here. Thank you for reminding me, Becky. What happened? I didn't. Let me just see what y'all is saying. Hold on. Sorry. Need to keep an eye on the comments here. Hold on. Let me see. Are you binding? Yes. I answered that question, right? Put the binding on the block swap. I finally did mine, and I need to do binding on the block swap too. I think if I go by binding, that is solid on the back. Which quilt are you asking me? On this one or this one? What you're asking me? This one or this one? Or this one? Because this one it's a solid, and look how beautiful the quilting is. It's supposed to have been black on here, and it looks like what kind of gray? It looks like a dark black gray. Give thumbs up, everyone. Thank you so for being so sweet. All right, let's see. I don't know what y'all are talking about, but amen. How the multi? Okay, so let me share with you what I'm going to do. It looks beautiful. Do I have a quilt up here? I literally did a quilt like Nana's quilt that I am getting ready to box and send to her. If Nana's here. Also, Nana, do you want that one or do you want a different one? I have a couple quilts you can pick from. I ended up doing for hers, it was like a dark royal blue. And then I added like this beautiful blue. So I alternated it. I recommend, I cut it 45 and then I alternated each one. And so how it rotates beautifully around the quilt, it's beautiful. Just depends on how you literally do 3 different colors if you wanted to. I did a beautiful quilt recently where I used 3 different colors because the client wanted me to add purple to the quilt, which I'm not too keen on purple. Like, let me just say, I love purple, but the quilt was a teal, gray, and white quilt in yellow. And so it was weird putting purple on the quilt. Let me see. Let me get the quilt going. All right, let me see. Let me move you. Let me move you here. Maybe I can move you over here. I want you guys to have not get bored. I watch content creators and they just talk. And I literally go I fast forward the YouTube content up to I fast forward it because come on, get to the point, please. But I think that's because of TikTok. I blame TikTok for my lack of attention span. Isn't that horrible? I blame myself for watching TikTok and I don't have a good attention span anymore. Let me see, stop. Nope, undo. There we go. And let me sew. So I have you on this camera. Hopefully I don't get in your way. I need to. And then this quilt has this weird little bias. I don't know if you can see it. The fabric is very puddly on the squares. I am giving this to all right, so we got that done. It's annoying that I'm not all the way to the end. Can I roll it more? Let me roll the quilt more. So you see all this puddling? And then we're gonna iron her. And we're gonna see if we could do it in one shot. Do you think we could do it one shot? Probably not, right? No. So let's wet the quilt. All right, let's see. We'll move you. So what are you guys planning this whole week? So I could get you guys to chat with me. Let me see. What's your plans this whole week? You can, yes. When I do the binding, you could literally, the 45-inch strips, you could connect them with, like, you know, that angle, 45 degree. And then you could alternate them, and they make beautiful quilts. It's almost like the frame of the quilt frames the quilt. Just, I don't know, I think it looks pretty. That's my thing now. It wasn't my thing before, but now I really do like it. And so, so I'll show you what I mean. I did, my hope is today is I could sit here with y'all after I finish this quilt, and we could add, and the neat thing is you could add the binding of the quilt. So like this quilt top, if you look at it, it has aqua, teal, blue, light blue, and then this dark purple. So you could mix and alternate those colors, and so your binding now becomes really, really pretty. It really is pretty. Let me see. And I'm ironing, making sure I'm not moving that batting. Usually when I do this kind of batting, I end up using lightweight interfacing. I cut myself interfacing 2 inches in size. And then you see that I'm ironing towards the way the block is pieced. And the reason I'm sharing that is because you get rid of the bias with steam. So if I was quilting, and then let me just be honest, sometimes you just can't get rid of it. Especially like here. So I, instead of going back and forth a lot, I just let the iron soak in the fabric, and the fabric shrinks. And just sit it. And if you have steam, oh my God, steam is your friend in all this. When I first started quilting, nobody told me any of this. As a matter of fact, I had a client, or a long armor. She's like, I was told to never iron my client's quilt. Like, no, you iron your client's quilt. Iron it. Okay, so let me move you here so you can see in a different angle. I think that's too close. Okay. Stop. I ended up overlapping a bit. No, and I can't do that bottom end. Let me see. Let me see. Concentrate, I'm sorry. I'll show you how I do the binding in a minute, okay? I promise, I promise. So let me get started. Let me get this machine going. This way I'm not, because the goal is to finish this quilt so that I can put binding on it. Let me see if I even have some more. Let me see. Right now I'm trying to, the reason I want to get this ironed as flat as I can, because I don't want it. I'm not going to be paying attention to the quilt because I'm paying attention to the live stream. I'm paying attention to y'all. Because sometimes when you have a lot of bias on a quilt, you have to really micromanage it so that you don't get pleats. But the way my thoughts are is that this quilt is going to a stranger who doesn't know about quilting. They're going to love the quilt no matter what it looks like. And when I get it, you can see all the rippling. Let me cat scratch that straight, or try to. The way this person put the binding or the border, you could see they kind of don't have an idea what they're doing. Yeah. Let me see. Let me get started. Ooh, that's beautiful. Okay. Let me get started so I can hang with y'all and talk and chat and do some binding and be so proud of myself because I got something accomplished. Let me get going. Let me get her started. Let me... Okay. So let's see. I was going to bind. Let me see what you guys want me to bind. All right, I'm getting a quilt right now so that we could start picking. I need to bind 2 quilts because I want to have them done. Where is the other one? Okay, maybe this one. All right. I have names on them for y'all. Okay. Let me get into the fabric. What right now I'm looking for is fabric that I could alternate with so you guys could see what I do. And so I'm going through my fabric and picking. Okay, I think that's good enough. That's a blessing. Turning lemons into lemonade. Sorry about your car. So let me bring you here, or let me bring a camera over here so you can see. And then like my little dog Blue, she's gonna be a harasser. Okay. So I'm gonna be working on this quilt. Okay. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna be working on this quilt. Not funny at all. So this quilt, I was thinking about these 2 fabrics. Okay. I also went and I bought this fabric. I don't know. Let me move you here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. Let me stop moving. So, what do y'all think about that fabric? It looks kind of dark green. But this quilt, I could literally use the dark green, brown, yellow. When I do binding, I always use the darkest color that's on the quilt. So if the darkest colors that are on the quilt are like dark green, blue, brown, Do I have a brown? And like, I really do like this blue and this blue, but I don't think those three will go. So let me see if I could find another color. Hold on. So this is my color. This is my stash, to be honest. So I like, what do y'all think about this? Is that too dark? Too dark of a green? Let's try it out. So I think this green plus this will work. No? No. Yeah, well. Hold on a second. What do y'all think? To me, I want this to be a very masculine quilt because it's going to a man, of course. Or I could do this color. Would that look weird? What do y'all think? I love this color. Maybe I'll just do that color. Hold on. Maybe see if I can find another one. Let me bring you to my stash. Sometimes binding is the worst for me. How about this one? And that one. But this has more blue. Does it even matter? You're only gonna see a sliver. Sliver. And you can see I don't have a big collection of fabric. You notice that? I don't have a big collection. All right, let me get you on another camera because I'm sure you guys are getting... Look, what is she doing? Let me get you here. So I think this quilt is kind of basic. It doesn't have a lot of... It's okay. It's beautiful. But it doesn't have a lot of... So I think some way you could do that is adding something really unique to the binding. Hold on. I'm tangled on a camera. So I really do like this color. And I really do like... What the heck? I don't know. Hold on. My life. What did you do today? Struggle on a live stream? My husband asked me, did you have fun? I go, well, yeah, but like the camera got caught and the things I wanted to get done didn't work out. All right, let's see. So my recommendation, if you're gonna do like binding with a machine, I would consider like using Elmer's glue to tack the fabric down, so that when you sew it on the machine, it doesn't move for you. I am not good at all with machine binding, not at all. I have no ability. I'm not strong there. But what do y'all think about this? This color. In this color. So anyway, I'm gonna make it, let's make the binding. I really love this. Do y'all love this? Y'all tell me. These two colors? Okay, you guys decide, right hand or left? Well, this is a green, this is a blue, and these are two bindings that have green. What y'all pick? Pure blue or green? This is a dark green teal. Anyway, what do y'all think? Anyway, let me make it. Whatever it is, we'll make it twice, or we'll make it. But like, you could make these two versions of blue. I wish I had more of this blue. but I don't. All right. Let's put the quilt on the floor and let's make the binding. And I'm gonna bring my camera over here so you can watch me. I do 2.5-inch binding strips. I cut 2.5-inch binding strips, and I also made this ruler. It's a binding ruler. You like the green? Okay, so we're gonna cut the green. Maybe I'm not gonna have enough. My Lord. Okay, so maybe I'll have enough. Let's see if we could cut it. All right, let's go. I'm gonna bring you to the cutting mat. I'm gonna bring you down so you can see me well. I have a cutting area right here. So these strips are gonna be longer. I'm looking at my green, if I have another green. Can you see my hand? Oh, no, don't turn on me. There you go. No, camera. Hold on. While I fight with a camera, I apologize for the stupidity. Okay. I have 2 people say green. I have 3 people saying blue. Can I do green and blue? How about I do all 3? Let me try. Maybe I could do green and blue. How about that? Mama, y'all want to see my puppy? She's out there hunting squirrels. Stop, stop, stop. You're smothering me. You're smothering. She gets mad at me. She gets mad at me. What are y'all talking about, Betty? I'm glad I'm not the only one. Are you talking about your quilt tops that you don't get your quilt tops done? Let's do all 3. I recommend that you find a long armor that will give you a discount when you do multiple quilts. I used to do long arm quilting for my clients, and what I would tell them, if they bought me 3 or more quilts or 3 quilts, on the 3rd one I do for free. So see if you can find a long armor to long arm your quilts. And so you're literally getting a free quilt from that long armor. Now, there are long armors that will give you a really great discount. All right, let's see. Let's see if I could get it to. You see me? Ay, Lord. Dios mío. No machine binding. I hand bind. The reason I hand bind is I have more control. I also found that, and let me be honest, when I was younger and I had my 5 kids, no hand binding for nobody, not even my own quilts. But as I've gotten older, I have allowed myself. Did I cut that right? No, Roxy. I love this. If you have, get one of these. I love it. Best cutter ever. It's so smooth and silky. Maybe my blades are old though, so don't listen to me. Okay, let's see. Did you make it? Did you make it, little chart? Okay, strips. These are a little bit short. They're short, no. So I have 3, maybe 4, and these are really long. I may cut them in half, okay? Because it's really long. I may cut them in half, and then these, are going to be 42. No. So let me move here. Okay. Yeah, just watching me work. Let me move you down so you can... I'm a messy worker, okay? No judging. I have to really be on top of myself because slowly. The other day I was working on some stuff. Oh, you want to see a project I was... Oh. All right, let's see. Trimmed out, trim. Hold on. Girl needs her readers. How annoying. I wish I appreciated being 40. But I think when I'm 60, I'll appreciate being 50, right? Wish. No. All right. I do a lot of binding for clients, so I'm pretty quick. And then when I make strips of binding, I double up the binding amount so that I have a binding drawer where all my binding is. And then let's say I did a job for somebody, I have like binding in there, or I finished a job for myself. Like this whole fabric, I'll probably cut it all up and then I'll make a big old thing of binding for myself so that when I'm working on a quilt, I don't have to remake it. Come on. So here's my strips. And I'll use, like I went and I bought a yard of fabric. Someone said I needed 5/4. I was like, just give me a yard. Because with the amount of quilting or quilts that I'm doing, I'll never have enough binding. And it's nice when I have it already ready, I could just put the quilt binding on the quilt and move on with my life. And just, so I cut 1.5 yards and I have all these strips. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can move you so you can see better. But this dumb camera, let's see. I'm 70 and I wish I was 40. Yeah, well, I love you. I had to move some stuff out of a storage, and anyway, I was moving stuff out of a big giant storage, and oh my Lord, my sons, I have 30-year-olds that just are hardworking kids, and they did the storage for me, and I was like, I think I'm strong, or I thought I was strong, but I can't pick up stuff. I don't know. Like, I need to go to the gym again. And they were picking up a whole bunch of chairs because I had a lot of chairs in the storage, and they're just picking it up like nothing bothers them. And I'm like, wow. I told my husband, I said, I feel real bad because I picked up 4 things while they picked up everything. And my husband's like, don't feel bad. They're 30 years old. They're doing great. They're doing great. Okay, so I have all this beautiful minky fabric. I'm probably going to just cut this much. Hold on. What's it like being 70? I met a lady I'm doing a quilt for. She's 94 years old. God. She outlived her son and her daughter. Can you imagine outliving your children? No. I can't imagine outliving. But she says, I outlived my daughter. You're feeling every minute of it, Jeanette? 65? Love you, Jeanette. Let's see. I cut me some fabric. I only machine bind. I don't have the strength anymore either. You had your hips replaced. That's a lot. No, I haven't had any surgery. I'm 53. So I guess I'm the baby in the community here. I go to a hand applique class. I go to a hand applique class. And yeah. And I was like, everywhere else, I'm the oldest. Or I feel like I'm the oldest, like with my children or my family, right? My over there, when I go to the hand applique, I'm like, you're the baby here. Oh, I love it because they spoil me and they're so sweet. And I don't know, they're really sweet. All right, we're gonna trim this. Maybe I could get this to look on this. Yay! Look, girl got it focused. Eye blue. Why are you being a harasser? All right, hold on. Mama. She was out there fighting with squirrels, and her and Mama. One of the things I do that I need to not do. You didn't see that. Stop. Like, I don't trim straight. I have a friend who has like special rulers. And then have any of you gotten one of these in your finger? I have. It was lovely. It destroyed, it hurt me so bad. Come on. I ended up getting one of them in this finger. Like it literally, yeah, that was horrible. So my husband got me knife gloves, you know, for knife cutting, for people who cut knives. Okay, let's see. Somebody, baby. Let me not drop it. Okay. Hopefully. All right. I really love this thing. Just saying. Love it. I love it. Love. And when I love something, I buy a lot of it. Because I'm afraid they'll stop making it. Because a lot of stuff that I love, someone stops making it. Okay. So I have my blue. And I have this color. So what I do is I'll alternate it. So one blue. Let me bring you here. One blue. And I don't necessarily, I just kind of stack them so that I know, but my intention is to alternate it. And it really comes out really pretty. Hold on. Trash. So this one is really long, extremely long. So I want to make sure that these are cut the same length as these. So if they're too long, what happens is they end up, so there it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to make sure that they all have the equal amount. And I think this would be the same. Yeah. So I'm going to cut these in half. And the long arm stopped. So I'm going to move you here because I need to do the last row. So I alternate. All right, I'm alternating. All right. So I'm going to make myself a stack of these and a stack of each color. And then when I'm out of that specific green color, I'm going to change it. All right, let's see. I ran out of thread. My bobbin needs feed me, burn. And I'm using Omni thread. It's a really light blue Omni thread. Any of you going to the Houston Quilt Show, may I ask? My plan is to go, but I was planning to just drive there. There's times where I get a hotel stay and I get like a couple nights to stay there. I think this year, I just want to drive there. I've gone so much, it's kind of, even, I'm not trying to be mean, it's kind of boring to me a little bit. Once you go, you kind of know what's going on. and it's just repeated throughout the years. The vendors tend to be the same. The only thing that's different, which of course is the new quilts that are showcased, but the vendors are the same. Sometimes the quilt tops that are created. Come on, go. Let me move everything. So is anybody going? Question. And then if you're local, I'm moving my quilts. I didn't think this blue would be beautiful. Question. Should I add this blue? So now let me show you this. This is what's neat about this. When they're in strips, so you can see the color. When they're in strips, can I even showcase them? They don't. Yes, get yourself a metal mesh glove. I literally have had that, and I was bleeding, and then I lost nerve sensation. What is it? Because I did my fingers. Okay, so I lost nerve sensation to my hand. Let me see if I should. So this is the colors. All right, let me start sewing them. Do you think I should add this? Ooh, it would be delicious if I add that. Let me move this. Let me cut some of this. Even if it's, let me cut a lot of it. Let me cut the whole thing. Because, let me see. So yeah, protect your fingers, guys. I remember I had a nurse who literally cut her finger off because she was drinking while she was sewing. And when she got the rotary, she got it all the way through her finger and cut the skin off. She says, I'll never do that again. Well, she was, some people quilt while they drink. I don't drink at all. So I guess she was, oh man, for some reason I go off. So she was drinking and she cut the tip of her skin off. Isn't that horrible? What happened? I was quilting. No, so she was kind of freaked out. Okay, hold on. All right, let's just cut those strips and let's part the binding together. So I'm gonna get myself a couple, here's a stack of these, and then I rotate it. I have 2 sets of blue here and 2 sets of green here. Hold on. This is blue. That's the blue. This is a set of green. And then this is a set of green. Hold on, I'm trying to get it. Trying to get this camera to go away. Okay. Come on, don't focus on me again. So here. I'm just driving over there. The good thing is I don't live far from Houston. I'm pretty close to Houston. Well, it's 3 hours. So I'm not saying the honest truth. It is 3 hours, so it's not too far, but it's not extremely close. Not like you're close to me on this camera. So let's see. Let me cut this. It's not that close. All right. I ended up having a piece that's not wide enough. Is this wide enough? No, it's not wide enough. All right. Let's deal with that later. All right, let's move you. Let's move you. I went to I tend to go every year. And when I go, I tend to bless. If you're a subscriber and you've like hung out with me, or I've seen you before, or you watched me, I tend to have gifts to give away. Come on. Tend to have gifts like keychains. Like last year I made a whole bunch of these on the laser, and this is, I called it my binding ruler. Also too, let me share with you this. You want to see my ruler? You want to see my ruler? Okay, so maybe with the fabric, it'll be better with the fabric. This is what it looks like. Can you see it? No. It's a binding ruler. This, the way I do it, my ruler is 2.5 inches. So the ruler is 2.5 inch. And then when you do that corner, you know that corner when you're putting the binding on, this is a 1/4 inch spacing. Let me show you. 1/4 inch spacing on the ruler, so that when you get to that corner, you could literally put it on the corner of your fabric. So you could have exactly that 1/4 inch. Also too, this line, there's a line. Can you see the line? Let me see. There's a line that goes across right there. Wait, camera, Lorena, hands. Okay, there's a line that goes across this, the other way, the opposite. This way. It goes across this way, and that's the line where you draw, where you do the fold over. Okay, and then also too, I have like little holes where your needle holes sit. Let me see, right? Lorena. Your needle holes, when I have to do the opposite of what the camera says. So these are needle holes. So you have your 1/4 inch, you have your 0.75, and then you have your scant. I literally have, did I put the scant on here? So like here's 0.25, half, and then an inch. Anyway, and so when I'm doing binding, I literally put it here at the end of the tail, and I draw a line. And then I know that when I flap the other piece over, I already drew it, because this is exactly 2.5 inch. So I use 2.5 inch seams. So this fits a 2.5 inch piece of fabric. And so, yeah. So I added needle spacing. I also added like the little fold over when you get to that corner. I don't know if you can get, I'm trying to share with you, but visually I can't. I also had another little tiny hole, and I don't know if I took it off, for a scant 1/4 inch seam when you like draw in, and you could put it on your needle, and the needle literally goes through these little holes right there. But anyway, I've made a couple of these when I went to this Houston Quilt Show last year. I think I made 100 of them. And so anybody who came up to me and had seen my YouTube channel, I would give you one of my rulers. I would bless you with a ruler, because anyway, just why not? If you just say you watch me, I feel like you're supporting my channel. And so because you're supporting my channel, I want to bless you. So let me move the long arm. That's how I work. Okay, so let me see. My little dog, thank God she's outside fighting with somebody else. Okay, up. So I'm going to roll her. I gotta have to roll her all the way up. And, but she's almost done, y'all. She's almost done. This year has been such a blessing, because I think I'm on, I want to see if I could finish 50 of my quilts. And I consider, now these are not my quilt tops, but they are quilts that I own. And I want to see if I could finish by the end of this year at least 50. At this current time, I think I'm on 35. Can you imagine finishing 35? I really am thankful for that, because last year when I saw how many quilts I finished, I ended up, like, if you see my photo reel is of all my clients' quilts. And then I was looking through all the photo reels and seeing, like, which ones, did I finish any of mine? And I think last year, maybe I finished gosh, maybe I finished 10, maybe 15 of my own quilts. So this year I'm really excited that I come up here and I work for myself. Like today I'm working for myself. And then on different days that I'm not doing live stream, I do video, I am working for my clients' quilts. And some of the videos I was posting were a lot of my clients' quilts, and I love my clients. Some of their work is extremely beautiful. But I think this year I still am posting some of my clients' quilts on my videos, but let's see. Let's see, I'm trying to get this in order. And then I need an iron right there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm having to trim off. So right now I have to mark the quilt and find points or create points because the design is going to quilt the whole quilt. So I don't know if you see me. I'm going to come and be marking the quilt. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Probably not. What it does, this trims off the pattern. Stop. And then it's only going to quilt in a specific space. Let me see. I need to go down. So it doesn't over. Let me see if I could get it to work for me. I need to get it down a little bit. Let's quilt. All right. So, and then let's do the binding. Hold on one second. So I really am thankful for this year. I do get a lot of work still, but I think I'm managing it a little bit better. So I currently am giving myself a, how can I say? I'm giving myself a personal work day, and then the other days, or I give myself 2 or 3 of those days. Come on, pan out. Can you? It won't work. Anyway, so I'm doing like my own personal work days, and then so like for tomorrow, I have embroidery work. I have a lot of embroidery work, and so tomorrow what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working all my embroidery stuff. Maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how much I get done. And then I think I'm trying to manage myself better. I also fired a couple clients, so or just not fired them. I just can't. There's a client who I was working for, and he would schedule an appointment for me, and then he wouldn't show up. And that's just like the worst. I had another client who wanted me to do work, and they wanted me to do work, and then he's like, take your time. And then I did take my time, I guess, and he got frustrated with me. But people don't understand, I guess, that you have like, and I love my clients. They've been really good to me. Some of them have, some of them haven't. But some clients just don't understand, like you have 20 people in front of them and they don't know. Because they think that, you think that you're just working for them. And let me see if I can see. Yeah, there you go. They think that you're working, they don't know that you're working for somebody else. And, oh, hold on. But yeah. That's why I was on YouTube the other day. I'm like, if you, let me see if I can trim it. And I don't care, okay, if it's trimmed perfectly. So do you see that blue with that green? And then, okay, I'm going to do another blue, but a different blue. I'm going to do this blue. And so 45 and 45 is 90, so I have enough for one side. And then this is a batik, so I don't have to worry about. Ah, that needle just hurt my finger. And then I'm the worst cutter, okay? No judging. I don't care. So like now you see, isn't that beautiful? I know they're greens or it's a green, and then I'm gonna add, because this, so also too, let me show you. This is a flatter blue. This is a kind of variegated kind of blue. It's not, or green. This is a batik. And then I'm going to, because of this batik, I'm going to add a flat green. So if you have texture in one, alternate them. So texture, flat fabric, texture. Let me see. So I have 4 on here. That means I have right side, left side, or right side, top, and then we're gonna keep doing that. So this has this blue. We're gonna add the first color. So I don't know if you, in a minute, I have it stacked already. Where's the stack? I have it stacked first, second, third. Let me see. Or let me organize it. First, second, third, fourth. Where's my, so here's my binding. And keep sewing it in order. So for example, this blue is next to this flat color. This blue has a little bit of texture, but not a lot. It's a little bit more of a flat color. So I'm going to lay it down. Oh, let me see. And I'm not ironing my fabric, okay? I'm a bit lazy. No, I'm not lazy. That's not the word. I'm just interested in ironing fabric, okay? Especially like this kind of fabric, because you're gonna tug and, but look, I wanna show you. So this is a flat color. Let me, come on. Look how beautiful that looks. Beautiful. And then this is a flat color, but it comes with a texture. And then this has a texture, but it has a flat, this has kind of like a watercolor in it. Isn't that beautiful? So I just started getting into it because, so I have, this is 90, hold on, 90, because 45 and 4, okay, 84, 84, all right. So I think I need to do like 5 more strips together. So this is my beautiful gold. Beautiful. And then I need to add, what do I need to add now? I'm lost. That weird green. There you are. This weird green. And the neat thing is when I do this, even if, like, I have a lot of quilts to put binding on. And some of you who are waiting for quilts, you can just wait, because, let me see. Let me see. And I just don't care. I used to do a rotary and I just not interested in that. So this color goes to this color. And then if I don't like, what I'll do is if I have a lot of leftover. So someone says I needed, to do a queen size quilt, how many strips do you think I need? I think I need, for 2 of them, it's 84. Okay, let's see. Let me bring you here so you can see me. So 2 of them is 84. So that's one side, give or take, right? Kind of, give or take. So this is another side, give or take. This is another side, give or take. This is a bit longer than it should be. Okay, so that's 3 sides. So I need 1 more set. This color, okay, this flat color. Hold on, I'm gonna start my long arm. Because when it's doing this trim off, come on, little long arm. But the reason I'm counting it right now is so that I'm not wasting y'all's time making binding, because that's annoying. She's like, she was making binding all day, like it's annoying. She was on a live. And what I do is the area that has the fold, this, I just lay it flat and run it through, because sometimes I make the stupidest mistake where I'm like doing the binding and I put 2 of them right and then I start messing up and putting them backwards. So that's done. I believe this is, let me add 1 more and then we'll start sewing with binding. Let me start. Let me start. Thank you for sewing with me. I want to do more of these where I sit and sew with y'all. Would you want to do that with me? Like I have some and hang and sew. I know there's a couple content creators that she does live streams and she sews with you guys. I thought it would be fun. How about this? We pick a block swap. I live near Houston, but I don't want to drive the. You're fine. You're fine. All right. You're fine. All right, hold on. Let me get this. So I have all this fabric, and now I'm gonna not make binding. So let's bring you here. So wherever I start, let me share this. Wherever I start, I mark it with my ruler, because I have a tendency to have a lot of overhang. Why is it doing that to me? Okay, Lord. Okay. So I'm trimming off this end. Okay. Then I need a marking tool. Hold on. And I do this to really save my sanity, because not my favorite. Hold on. I'm getting a marking tool right now, a chalk one if I can, so that I could see my marks, because, all right. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, I'm sorry. I got this marking tool. One of you suggested it on my YouTube channel, because I needed a marking tool that would mark dark fabric, black fabric. So let me show you. Maybe I could get it. So here's my fabric, and I get this ruler and right away mark my 2.5 inch mark before I even start. So I know, yeah, and this marking pen is not the best. So I know that I need to go within the line. So I mark my 2.5 inch mark. Then, let me decrease my mess here. So I tend to get the quilt. I always bind the quilt. Like in the middle somewhere. Doesn't matter if it's the top of the quilt, the bottom of the quilt. I just start in the middle. Like, so here's the end right here. And I kind of go like right here. Why aren't you looking at me? Stupid camera. Okay, here's my end. So here's my end right here. And I kind of go like right in the middle. Hold on, my dogs. All right, Lord, have mercy. Oh, it's gonna rain outside. Are you coming? No? My little dash hounds. Let me stop the... All right. Da-na-na-na-na. Let me move the... Hey, now you follow me? Now you love me? The camera. So let me show you how beautiful this quilt quilted. God's got it. What happened? I don't even know. I need a... Oh, also too, you know how I told you guys that my wheels exploded? The wheels on my Gamel exploded. That was fun. That was really interesting, huh? I called Gamel, and I looked on Gamel, and let me show you. Gamel has a caster system where you buy the casters. Hold on, let me see. Maybe I could get the camera to show you that mess. Here, let me get you a camera here. Look how beautiful. Look how oh, I did stars and the sky on the tree. I think this is beautiful. The last quilt that had this tree design, I used pickup sticks and it quilted really pretty. But let me share with you this. I told you that my Gamel, the casters. Am I showing you a picture of the casters? Come on. Remember my casters broke? Right there. The wheels exploded. The rubber part. Let me move you here so you can see what I'm talking about. This rubber part. You see if it's going up? Do you see those wheels? Do you see how they're all cracked up and crazy? Well, Gamel has a caster system. So this is a whole assembly system. But my wheels that are here, that you can see right there, they literally exploded on me. And let me show you some quilts. And I called Gamel. I already got the caster system, and Gamel said to me that I would have to repurchase that whole assembly. That whole assembly right there. You want to know how much that whole assembly costs? You're not going to laugh. You're not going to. So I really don't need the assembly. What I need is just the wheel. And keep in mind, I could buy the wheels at Home Depot or Hobby Lobby or something like that. But my husband said that because the Gamel has so much weight, they really have picked a really great, let me see. They picked a really great caster system. Come on, can you go out? Can you? It says you're supposed to go like this on the camera, and then it's supposed to expand out. Expand out. So, I went to Gamma and I said, can I just buy the wheels? Can I just buy the wheel? Like, please, can I buy the wheel? And they said, yeah, you could buy the wheels. Yeah, sure, you could buy the wheels. It's fine. You could buy the wheels. You know what? They wanted to charge me $200, $199 for the wheels and the assembly, the big giant assembly. And I said, you can't just sell me the wheels or let me know where you got the wheels so that I could buy the wheels. I go, I already have the assembly, so you're expecting me to buy the whole assembly? And they're like, yeah, we do. Yep, we do. We just expect you to pay for the whole assembly that you're not going to use and you're going to stuff in a damn drawer because, you know, we're not selling you the wheels. Yeah. So I don't iron, okay? I don't iron my binding at all anymore because I feel like it's a waste of time. Someone said, and honestly, my client gave me this tip, and my client said that she saw this tip from a content creator. So I'm sorry, I don't know who the content creator is that shared the tip. She says that it's a waste of time to iron your fabric. And the reason she says it is because sometimes fabric has memory, and so when you iron it, you lock in the thing. So when you're sewing it, just make sure that both pieces are together. And let me just say this has saved me hours worth of time not having to iron the binding to make binding. Like, making binding is a pain in the butt, but to iron the binding. So guess what happened? I pulled the wheel off of the caster system, and apparently there's a name on the wheel. So if you're a long armor and you have a gamel and you have casters, and one day out of the blue, when you pull down that long arm, the casters just poof, on you, and they just burst because you're moving them, and I guess they get brittle after a period of time. I found them. If you look up the name of the caster and then it has a number system on the bottom, find a caster that has the number. There's some casters that totally just exploded on me. They cost $10 each. And you know what, I want to say this. Gamel could have literally bought the system, the wheels, and literally sold them for $20 each. And I would have paid $20 per wheel. And I know that the wheels that I'm buying them for this company, they're only $5. It costs them $5 to make them. And I'm paying $10. So that's retail. If Gamel would have just supplied the wheels, because I'm sure I'm not the only person dealing with this, they could have sold me the wheels for $20 and I would have bought from them, because $80 would have been better than $200. And they would have made $15 off of me per wheel. And they would have made money. But to me, it would have been better than paying the $200. So I found the name of them, and I went online and I found the wheel with the exact number, because it has a number system, and they cost me $10. So I paid $50 for 4 wheels. It came out to like $10 and some change, $10.50. So yeah. Gamel. And there's a song, what's going on? Nana say, hey. Like, come on. And I called the girl, and she says, yeah, we have them, and you could buy them. And then I said, I'm not spending $200 on I don't need the frame. You know what I mean? I didn't need the caster frame. I needed the wheel only. So I just want you to know that if you need wheels and something happens to you, or if you just want to know where to get them, message me and I'll send you the link so that you could literally just buy yourself extra wheels so you don't have to deal with it. Because when I was dealing with it is when I was moving the long arm. And it's so frustrating that the wheels were exploding on me, and then I couldn't move the long arm the way I wanted to because of the long arm, just the weight of it was a lot to move. So let me just start. I'm putting on the binding. And I've told you I started in the middle. So I'm just letting you know, if any of you have a Gamma Stoutler stitcher and you want casters, the casters are $200. I recommend if you're going to buy a long arm, then you make sure that your machine has the casters. You are going to use them. You are going to need them. And I do sadly recommend Gammels. My husband is a heavy equipment mechanic, and he was saying that the casters on those wheels, that the bearings were really great for heavy weight. So it's not like you could get caster or wheels of any kind, because the machine itself, the weight of the metal and the weight of the machine and the weight of the table and all the steel bars do weigh a lot. So, but Gamel is selling them. Gamel is selling them for $200. Yeah, I'd rather buy fabric than buy something I already own and buy it again. It's stupid. But I did talk to them. I said, you don't have just the wheels. You can't just sell me the wheels. And they're like, sorry, no. No. And then they're telling me to find it somewhere else. And you want to get their wheels that they're offering, because you want the casters to bear the weight of the machine. I guess that's what my point. But yeah, $200. But I found the wheels, thank God, for $50. I know I'm going on a tangent about something maybe insignificant to you, but the casters are really important to me. If I ever want to move the long arm back to where I used to have it, I just, and I didn't want to put bad wheels that couldn't bear the weight, because I don't want them to buckle under when I'm moving the machine, because the wheel could literally break under, the wheel can break under the pressure and then buckle under. Because you can buy caster wheels at Hobby Lobby and Home Depot and at Lowe's. But there is a company that makes just the wheels, which is really great. So just sharing. So, okay, I'm going to share with you here. If you're a stickler when you do binding, and maybe I could put a camera here. Let me see if I can move my camera. Okay, let me move you. Sorry, I'm moving you while you're here. She's like, oh, I'm trying to get it together, I promise. Because sometimes content creators are like, can't you just get it together? And then, yeah, here I am doing exactly what I wish. Anyway. All right, so let's see. Let me show you. Let me see if I could just move it down a little bit. So let me share with you this. I tend to give myself literally, let me move you here, like a 1/16 of an inch off, because my foot is not a 1/4 inch foot, so maybe you don't have to do what I'm doing. So I give myself just a little bit of breath, of space, so that when I fold it over, it just folds over real pretty. So that's what I do, okay? I'm going to move my camera again. I'll move you here so you can watch me. And then I'm going to show you why I like my ruler. I can eyeball a 1/4 inch. But when I was a beginner, I couldn't eyeball a 1/4 inch. So I have my ruler, and if I get the ruler, and you can use it this way to where you have your corner, and then I mark the corner and fill in the square. So I know that my 1/4 inch is here, and sometimes I go before and sometimes I go past it to where my fold over looks like crap. So the reason, and then I have my fabric here. I want my fabric. I'm telling myself that I'm going to stop right there by using that little, and then I go, and then I tend to go back and forward and stop. I went past it. Look at me. I went past it a little bit. but it's okay. I can unstitch that little tiny stitch because I want to end on that corner. The good thing, so I'm not past it now. Does that make sense? Yes, corporate greed. If you need, Aubrey, the information that I found, I literally looked it up. I had to unhook one of the wheels, and I'm glad I did that. So what I tend to do is triangle and fold over. What I was thinking the other day is, and you see me making my triangle. So I know that I need to roll right here. My little tiny tool. And I made this tool because I get really annoyed having to find a stupid ruler for to measure the end, the tail end. And I thought if I had a ruler that just was 2.5, I felt like I would be good. I know, Roxy. You're like a lot. Am I in your space, Mom? Am I bothering you some? And I want you to see the binding, how beautiful it looks as it transitions. And I think for... And then... Visually, let me show you my face. So, blessed are those, yes, ma'am, who take care of others. Let's see. So if you're gonna go to the Houston Quilt Show, please find me. I may have some trinkets for you and some blessings for you people. So then, and honestly, try to see, and because I didn't iron it, I just kind of fold over it and make sure I see the back. And then as you see what do you think about the binding? Let me see, I'll show you in a minute how beautiful it'll look. I'm giving this quilt to a waiter. The reason I like giving quilts to waiters is because they work so hard and they tolerate so much BS. I just, they tolerate a lot. All right, so let's see. You can see, let me see. Let me see if you, okay, so you can see the quilt. Oh, that's a better view for you. Look at that. Ha ha ha. An aerial view. That's good, Lorena. Look at that. And then, let me see. And then when I'm done with it, I just roll it like, so because I have that batting, I'm just gonna not, I'll trim it later. And then when I trim the quilt, I made sure that I square it up. So I measure from here to the end with the ruler. Where's my ruler? And then I'll trim and make sure I trim, and I trim both sides consistently, and sometimes I may have to trim in on one side and I'll trim in on the other. And I tend to square up my clients' quilts so that they could just, let me see, they could just go ahead and bind their quilts and they don't have to worry about it. Hold on, that's too thin. And then when I do that, anybody do that? Where they don't do it right, I go back and re-sew because, oh, let me see. Like I was saying, oh, let me see. I make sure that the quilt is trimmed off right. So I measure this edge to the corner to make sure that the quilt itself is squared up. Some people just don't care how they trim, which is fine. Let me get my ruler. So here I have a batting area where, so you see the batting is a bit of the, so I don't have a marking tool right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pin right there so that I know that I'm going to do the fold over, or that's how far I need to go. And start back here. And I'm going to stop right before the needle. One more. Right before the needle. And then let me show you my corner so that you can see how the corner looks. Because I use that marking tool, is like, I've noticed that my corners are better. My mitered corners. I think I went in a little bit much, but that's a beautiful mitered corner. That notch on the corner is a good addition. No, I really, because, you know, like you can use your ruler and it's great, but I've like literally made it to where it had everything. I also think what I want to do is I may make a 45-degree angle, like cut a 45-degree angle, like cut this here, maybe, I don't know. So that when you're doing this part, you could use the ruler, well, you literally use the ruler to do that fold. But I was thinking maybe I needed to do a 45-degree angle to get that fold. And you can see I have batting here because when I was squaring up the quilt, the batting, oh, let me see. Triangle, fold over, and make sure that these two pieces are nice and parallel to each other. And then I make sure that, and then I hate joining the seams, and I have a trick to that. Because a client of mine one time said, how do you join the ends together? Let me show you. Let me get to the end though. And then I need to check to see if do you see, I wanted to make sure, come on, that there's no batting showing from the, yeah, there's no batting showing. And then, let me see. I hope you guys are okay hanging out with me, watching me do binding. Look how beautiful the camera is. Literally, I'm just trying to switch. And then I watched Sharon Chamber. Sharon Chamber, what she does is she does to do an award-winning quilt. So if you ever want to put a quilt in the show, Sharon Chamber says that judges, they get a ruler and they check if your binding is a 90-degree angle. So what Sharon Chamber does, if you ever watch her, she's a beautiful award-winning long armor. What she says is that you use Elmer's glue. She used to have an Elmer's glue stick, and then she had like a little tip that like let the glue flow out really thinly. I use Elmer's glue stick and use her way of hopefully I have an Elmer's glue stick so I could show you. If not, I guess I can't show you. What she does is she puts Elmer's glue stick on the one side. You know how I was talking about, y'all, that use Elmer's glue stick, what she would do is put Elmer's glue stick on this side. Let me get you on the bigger view. She would put Elmer's glue stick on this side and then turn it and then glue it. And then while she had it rotated and glued, she would heat set the glue so it stayed in position. So if you ever want to sew your binding and sometimes you have problems with it shifting, I know a lot of you will probably change your foot into a quilting foot because it has that feed dog, but you can do it without having a quilting foot, where you can put the binding backwards, meaning from the back forward, and then you glue it here, like you would glue it, but you would do it backwards, okay? And then when you have it glued and tacked down with the Elmer's glue stick, so you use a glue stick, put the glue stick here, roll it over, get your iron and tack it down. And she was saying that you want to do that and have control of your binding, and that she's an award winner. She says that this way you can control how it sits. And she says that judges, oops, I just dropped my camera. Judges literally will see if your binding is a 90-degree angle. And this way you could make sure that it is, especially if you ever want to put your quilt in a show, you want to have that this line is straight, and then you roll and you iron it with your glue, and you make sure this line is straight, that you have that beautiful 90, oops, sorry. This line is straight right here, and you want this line straight, so that when that when a judge looks at your corner, it's a 90-degree, a perfect 90-degree. And they also want to judge that when you are doing your binding, that the binding, and I'm talking about if you ever want to put a quilt in a show, that your binding is nice and straight. And so you could glue it. I wish I had, do I have Elmer's glue stick? I know I do somewhere. Girl, I need to find it because I don't know where my drawers are. Okay, I changed all my drawers, and so now my life is kind of disorganized. I don't know where everything is. Let me see if I find Elmer's glue stick. But you could use a glue stick, or you could use the glue. I like the glue stick because I could control it. So let me go here. But she was talking about, like, if you ever want your quilts in a show, I recommend, like, even local shows like New Braunfels over here where I live is New Braunfels Quilt Show, or I wonder if Austin has a quilt show, or in any local location, that the way they check your work is she says all the judges will rotate the back of the quilt and see if the binding is 90 degrees. Isn't that crazy? Something I didn't even think about. Oh. Let me see. Do I still have more left? Yeah, am I almost done? No, I need to make more binding. Okay, I didn't cut enough. All right. But I want you to see, before I let you go, how beautiful. Let me see. I was really never a person who did this kind of binding because, you know, why? And then I did it on that purple and yellow and teal quilt. And I used all the scrap fabric that I had from building the quilt top. And I just can say it just came out so pretty. It's one of my favorite quilts. And let me just say, some people, I think binding is the frame. It's the frame of your work. So my ruler, where are you, ruler? Shoot, what did I do with you? My ruler. And you don't have to. I'm sure you know what a 1/4 inch looks like. We all do. Especially if we're in this game, right? Let me see, am I right? Yeah. But a friend of mine was saying that she was having issues with her miter corners. And I think if you have issues with your miter corners, it could be where you end and stop. Because you're not giving yourself adequate room to create that miter. Up. Let me see. I have a mess up here. Let me see. What are y'all saying? I love this binding video. Thank you for hanging with me. I really do appreciate it. So do you see how I lined everything up? Oh, you need to see my new toy. Oh my God. I think I should have used my little corner there. I'm so thankful that I have a dumb laser. I made a new thread boat. I was like, oh my God. I want to call it a boat, but I don't know if I should call it a boat. But I redesigned it because I hand bind a lot, and I have my little threads everywhere. My favorite thread to do binding, and this is for people who do binding or who want to do applique. I'm sorry, trying to, so fine thread, man. So fine thread. And this is if you want to do hand binding. I know some of you don't because you may have arthritis, and I totally understand. When I finish one of these quilts, my hands are a little bit annoyed. Tired is the word. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm almost at the end. Sorry. I'm so excited. Sorry. Let me see. Like, now that I have the AC, I think I would have just finished the quilt top and said, see you later, guys. I'm sweating like I took a shower. But now that I got the AC, it's so sweet. I literally found myself the other day sewing binding on 3 quilts. Yeah, you want it out of the house. I also think, like, sometimes when I do binding is when I'm like praying. I try to pray for the person that receives the quilt, and I just want them to really like understand the gift of it out and the time that comes with it. I don't think people understand how much work these are. I had the little girl who gave who her boyfriend took her quilt from her. She just didn't. She's like, I'll just buy it for you. What, $50? Like, I go, Ma. I'm like, no. So I bought a yard of fabric. Honestly, so special if you want to ever order online. I bought fabric for them for $10 a yard, and I thought it was a deal. It was a deal because everywhere else here locally, they want you to pay, shoot, $15. All right, I need to use my ruler. Do I have it here? And you could use the ruler differently, like instead of having it, maybe, like here's my line. You can rotate the ruler differently. Ow, come on. Okay. We're getting to the end, guys. I love the end now. I used to hate it. Okay, I see the white line. I used to hate it because I didn't know how to do it. And I found a trick. My client was asking me how to do the end. So maybe I need to trim that. That's really bad. Shoot, hold on. I need to trim that so that the fabric, because it's measured right. So what I want to do is make sure that this fabric, and I guess I just didn't pay attention when I trimmed this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up or thin it down so I'm not going to see the binding. I'm still 1/4 inch. Hold on. Hopefully this folds over. Not, I have to figure that out. Okay. So I taught one of my friends how to do binding the way I do it. And one of the things that I found for myself, my hands would hurt when I would do binding. And I found that it was because I was using 2 threads. Does that make sense what I'm saying? When you're having on your needle where you pull the thread through. Is that going right? When you pull the thread through. Okay, wait. Okay. Let me stop. Let me make sure I did that right. Because it looks kind of sloppy. Didn't it look sloppy? Okay. I'm going to go back and do it right. Okay, so the lines goes clean. Okay. So here's my ends. And this is where marking your fabric first, like you can see that I marked the fabric first, right? So what I'm going to do is I can overlap it, but what the problem is I didn't think about it. It's getting longer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pull the fabric out, just pull the fabric out, and I'm going to cut one end. Usually it works out for me, but this time it didn't, where I started at the end. Ooh, look, and girl, that's all the... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler to mark. Do you see that? Here's where I want my tail end to end. So I'm just using, this is 2.5 inches, right? And you need to have 2.5 inches distance. Does that make sense right there? And I'll bring you closer. So my fabric's 2.5 inches. And then I mark the line. So now what I have to do is make sure that this end, of course you guys know, right? You guys know binding. This end overlaps 2.5 inches. So I'm going to lay it here, and I'm going to lay it here. And I want it to overlap. Oops, can I get it to go back? Hold on. Sorry. I want it, so I know this is 2.5 inches, and so I'm going to use my own fabric to have the overlap line. And from here to here, but I need to overlap too. Do you see that line where I drew it? I can cut that off. That was just a coincidence, believe it or not. But I need the 2-inch overlap. So here's my end and 2.5 inch overlap, let's say. And you need a fabric as flat as you can. And then here's my 2.5 inch overlap. Yes? Do you see that? Yes? So we're going to end up having two kind of miters. We're going to have two miters. Anyway, so this is a trick I learned, and I did this a long time ago. So you grab your fabric and make a triangle. And then I use my ruler, because here's my triangle, and I draw the triangle line. You don't have to, you could just literally mark your triangle, like mark it. Yes? Now, I used to iron it, and the reason I would iron it is so that I would have the ability to see the fold. So then I put this in, and then I fold. Did you see that? Let me show it to you again. I sneak it in, and this end goes to the end of that line. So this is at the end of this triangle point. Yes, right there. And then I just lay it over. Not too much. This end of the fabric goes to this end of this triangle, and then you fold it over. Now what I used to do, and I don't have Elmer's glue, is I would Elmer's glue the triangle and then glue it together. And I have videos of me doing this. Glue the triangles together. And then there's my miter. So what I do is I open it and I fold it open. And where I have that triangle, which would be right here, where I drew it, is where I sew. But if you glue it, it doesn't shift on you, and you're not moving the fabric that much. I believe the fold is this way. Yeah. And see, I could see where the fold is. I'm going to draw, I drew a line so I know where to sew. So from this end to this end. So now I get my fabric. And because I drew it, I know that I'm sewing, because I'm kind of like sewing blind a little bit. And then I go straight. Now, what I do is after I do that, of course, I just check it. But if you Elmer's glue this triangle, if you glue it, it doesn't fall apart on you when you're shifting throughout the fabric. It stays in place. And as I've gotten better, because I used to hate doing this, it would just mess me up. when I do that triangle fold over and then I tuck the fabric in and it's lined up. See how this fabric is lined up to this end, and then this fabric supposed to be lined up to this end, and that's your, like that beautiful connection. And now I lay it flat and I pull it and check it and make sure that it's nice and tight, and then I go back. And you don't need to have any ruler. I just made one because I wanted to find an easier way. I was like using my big ruler to get that 1/4 inch seam, and I was using that big ruler, hold on, making sure that everything is under, and then I'm catching all the fabric. Okay, let me go back, okay? So then, and then you don't have, sometimes when you don't measure right, or it's too far in, the fabric pleats underneath, or if you added too much fabric, you'll have a pleat on your binding. Honestly, so yeah. So now but you can see, let me see. Let me see. And the neat thing is this end is the same color as this end. It kind of like rotated. So let me see. Oh, wait. Look at that. Nope. We need to fix that. So I'm going to cut the seam. So what I do after this, like what you're seeing me do right now, I check. Oh, that's why it's too narrow. I check to make sure that I caught all the fabric. And let me see. So now I'm going to tear it a little bit. Oh, by the way, I got a whole bunch of seam rippers from Tultron. I was going to do a giveaway, a Tultron, that beautiful, I went to the San Antonio Quilt Guild, and they had, Tultron was there, and I bought a whole bunch of seam rippers for y'all to see if you guys wanted. Let's see. Make sure, Lorena, that you catch all the fabric. You can see that my 1/4 inch was not a true 1/4 inch. It was a scant 1/4 inch, and you see that's why I didn't catch all the fabric. And sometimes I make a 1/4 inch that's too big. So let me show you. Let me show you. So here's my miter corner. You can't see it because it's so dark. Look at my mitered corner, and then look at I wish I could draw you away so you could see the binding. So after I do this, I go through the whole quilt and make sure that my binding is nice and on. And then I check in certain areas if it looks like a beautiful, and then you could use your ruler to see. It's a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch. Just a smidge bigger, just a smidge. I could pull it more, and then you have your 1/4 inch right there. Now, if that's what you want, like, who cares? You're not gonna be perfect. You don't want to be perfect, but you see it's a little bit over a 1/4 inch. And then look at this color, the transition. Beautiful, right? What do you think? Got one down. Here's my corner. So on my corners, look at this transition, this beautiful color. Can you see it? And then this transition from this color up. I need it. Also, too, I go through and I cut off. You know how I sew the quilt, the long arm? Look at this transition from here. Oh, wait. Come on, camera. Focus. Focus, camera. This camera, look, that transition, that watercolor. Let me see if I can put, and you can see the darkness of the watercolor. So I think every corner will have a different colored binding on the corner. So that one is a watercolor green. This is the dark green. I need to take this off. Let me see what this corner looks like. Yeah, this is a watercolored green. It's beautiful. No! Look at the girl. Why in the name of Jesus would this happen to me? All right. me see what. At least I caught it now when I'm. Why? Does that happen to y'all? Or is it just me? Or is it because I'm on a live stream? Why is it happening to me? Let me get the camera to focus on Lorena. All right, so it didn't catch for some reason when I was sewing the binding together. But this is the time I check everything because I want to make sure that when I sit down and I'm hand binding, that, oh, and I want to show you my toy before we go. Hold on, let me fix this. You can see the long arm. Let me see the long arm. I'm going to pull, fix, Lorena. Why didn't this work? All right, so this is not together. It's almost like having to do the binding again. This is not together. Hold on, let's see. Let me move you here so you can see the fiddling of my hands. So I'm having to for some reason, I guess I didn't have thread. Why? All right, let me put it on the sewing machine. We all have problems, right? We have to fiddle through our problems. Let me get the, come on, Lorena. What I would do is if I had my Elmer's glue stick, I would glue the edges right here. Come on. Okay, it's caught the fabric, and now I can clean the line. Can you see me? Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, kind of, huh? I promise I'm gonna get better at live streaming. I promise, I promise. Okay, so now I have to stitch this. Make sure that but someone telling me that I didn't have to iron was the biggest lifesaver. Wow. Hold on. Someone's mad at me. You can feel it in the air. Hold on. Let me see. I think I got it right. Okay. And when you're fixing something, make sure that you continue to have a continuous straight line, because when you're binding or rolling the binding over, you'll see that it's not, you'll see that it's shifting. So let me see, let me show you. Can you see that? Kinda. All right. Let me show you my stuff. Hold on. Hello, how are you? Thank you for watching. All right, so let me show you this. If you have problems with your hands when you're hand binding, my recommendation is to use one thread. And I recommend that you use, let me see. Let me get you the thread so you can look at it now that I'm very nice and personal in your space here. I recommend that you go to Superior Thread if you want to and get a very thin polyester. I'm looking for it. Usually I have it somewhere. All right, hold on. Give me a sec. You could buy just 1 or 2 threads. You don't have to buy a whole collection, but I got what's called a Bob's Donut. And I don't think they sell it anymore. I know that they don't sell it anymore. Hold on. I know they don't sell it anymore because I don't think they were making sufficient amount of money to produce it. But let me see. Let me move your camera over here. Holy Spirit. But what they did do, Superior did do, hi, I'm on the live.
Oh, really?
Yes. What's up?
Is that why you kicked off the dogs?
No, I didn't kick them out. They left me.
Oh.
Why? What are you saying? Oh, what happened, Mom?
Sugar came down.
Oh, Sugar was with you?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want to see my daughter? You want to be on my live? Do you want people to see you? Ah, shit. All right, wait a minute. All right.
Is this the camera?
No, I have 3.
Uh,
I have 3 cameras. Hold on. This is one of them. This is one of them. Y'all want to see my daughter? Say hi,
my
Hannah.
hair looks so bad.
You don't look bad at all. Shut up.
Hola.
Hola. She don't speak Spanish.
No.
She wants to, though. Why you smell like fish?
Sugar smells like fish.
Really? The dog smells like fish?
She came to my room smelling like pure fish.
Why don't you wash her?
I don't know what's happening with her. You say, why do I smell like fish? She's crazy.
Why don't you bathe her?
I was like, hold on. No, because she laid in my bed. I was like, yo, she smells like strong fish.
What, did she eat a fish?
I have no idea.
Did an animal pee on her?
Mom, it's not me. Like, if you smelled her.
It's not her.
No, Mom, it is her because I didn't smell fish until she came in my room.
You smell bad. What happened?
It's her. Don't say I smell like fish. That was such a crazy statement.
I was thinking you were cooking fish.
Oh, no.
You know, like people who work at Sea Island?
Mm-hmm.
They smell like fish?
No, but she smelled like bad fish.
She smells bad. All right. You want to see my daughter? I'm telling her, you smell like fish. Hold on, let me move her. You can stand. That's my baby. She's my youngest. She's the youngest baby of all of them. So you guys okay?
Yeah, Jen went home a while ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm. I got these new leggings. I need you to trim them whenever, though.
Huh? Oh, you want me to sew their feet?
Oh, yeah.
Or the bottom end?
Mm-hmm, because they're real long.
Are you going to... Okay, hold on. I need to measure something for her. Here, you can watch the quilt. Do you want me to do them now or you want me to do them tomorrow?
Yeah, you can do it whenever.
Okay.
I'm just wearing them.
Right, can you get them out of here?
Yeah. Come on. I love you, Mom. I just want to check on you.
I love you. I'm almost done.
Okay. Dad's not home either.
He's not home?
Let's go.
Hey, in a little bit, you want to go to Sonic with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me finish and then we could go do Sonic. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Well, you know where I'm going. I'm going to go to Sonic. Hold on. Let me show you some things, okay? Hola. My daughter. She doesn't speak Spanish at all, but she wants to be. What did I bring a bag? Okay, hold on. I thought I brought a bag, and I thought when I brought the bag that I brought some stuff to show y'all, but maybe I didn't bring the bag. Maybe I didn't. Because, wait, maybe I did. Hold on. I have a mess, guys. Hold on. I apologize. She's like, she just keeps saying, hold on. I know, because... Let me put this so you guys could see the cloth. Maybe the camera will follow me. I doubt it will, but... Let me... So you guys hung out with me and you did binding with me. The reason I want to lay it out is so you could see the binding. Because like you saw the variety of color, right, when we were putting it on. But then, hold on, let me move it there. But then, oh, yes, look. Let me show you my thimble. My daughter's probably annoyed because the dogs are messing with her. Because I'm not messing with her. All right. So, okay. I ended up making, I showed you guys the other day, my thimble boat. Oh, my boat. So it holds, remember I showed you? You need to use this camera and bring it down so you can see it. Hold on. Don't leave me yet. Please stay with me. All right, so here. Where is it? Come on. Focus. Sometimes I get so annoyed with these dumb cameras because all they need to do is just film. And instead I'm fighting with them because I'm trying to get them to. Okay. Hold on. I gotcha. Ready? So I ended up making this thimble boat. I need to make all this binding because now I have it all cut up. I ended up making this thimble boat. And it was my first one. One of the things I was sharing with you guys that if you have hand problems like I used to, is because when you're putting your needle together, you're putting 2 threads, and so every time you pull, you're getting a drag from like 2 threads that you're Hey, man. Ay, Dios mío. Qué feo. All right. So let me get it here. Trying to get this camera to focus on where it wants, but it wants to turn for some reason. All right. So I gotcha. There, kind of better. So Fine used to do, or Superior Thread used to do this. It's called a Bob's Donut. And if you can find one online, and I know they're expensive, they're like $40, $50 if you could find them. I think they're worth their weight in gold if you do two things. If you do applique and if you do hand binding. Favorite ever. Yes, I know my daughter's beautiful. She's so pretty. She's real sweet too. She's one of the kind ones. I have 3 girls, and she's real sweet. 2 of them are really sweet. One, I don't know. She needs therapy. Well, she does go to therapy. Anyway, I'll be nice. I won't say anything. It's hard having daughters because they tend to be very competitive, and they can't. And I wish I had the daughter that she's real sweet, but she's very competitive. And anyway, she just can't. I don't know. She's just not okay. I have a daughter that's not okay because everybody does wrong. I don't know. And out of all of them, I think she's the prettiest. Let me just say the honest truth. She's the prettiest. But they're all beautiful. But, all right, so Superior Thread. So here's my needle boat. And then if you go on Superior and you want to get this thread, you can't get it, but you can get this. They do sell these now. I believe, and you need to make sure that when you're ordering this, you want to have, where's my glasses? You want to have the thread is called bottom line thread. They do sell this in spools if you want a spool. And I recommend if you're going to do any type of color, I recommend you could use taupe. Taupe or gray or dark gray will blend in well. So anyway, but let me share with you my needle. I use this tiny thread and I use this tiny needle. These are from Lori Holt, I think. And she has a color coordinated quilting applique. And I tie the needle. I don't know if you can even see it. I literally tie a needle on the edge. And I only use one string to do the binding. Only one string. And let me show you my other boat. I'm so excited about this one. So this is another needle boat. Is this too big? So I have my thimble. I have my threads, my needle bed that I created. My needle bed. And I created another one, a different one. This one has 2 lock-in threads where you can lock your thread in. And I also have a deeper groove and the needles inset better, or the magnets inset better. And this is one of my first ones where I only had it at the top. I noticed if I have it at the top and bottom, they work better. So here, let me show you. I'm going to use the pink thread on that dark blue, just real quick. And wait, let me get my needle bed. Here's my needle bed. And it's one thread. I put the thread on top. You spin around the needle, the thread. You spin and you grab your thread with both your fingers right there. And then you pull the needle and you have a knot. You have a baby knot. Why do you want a baby knot? Because the baby knot, remember I told you that fabric shred? Do you see how it shred? It shred. So I'm going to bring my quilt top that you guys saw me sew. I'm going to have my needle bed close by. These are all my needles, or some of my, it's these. But I hooked them onto the thread boat with my thimble, my corset thimble. But we're going to move it out of the way because I want to show you how I do binding. So the way I do binding, I'm going to share with you here. I turn the quilt this way towards me. Come on. You should see the mess I'm in. Come on. I'm going to bring you here so you guys can see me. Both aerial view. There you go. You can see me. So I have this thread. Also, too, make sure your long arm cleans up after herself. If you have a long armor, like this should not be something you deal with. So I have a pink, and you would think that pink would not be the color you should use. And then I do have clips. I don't like clips because sometimes they get caught with my needle. But since I get tired of rolling over, but if you have Elmer's glue, you could literally put the glue here, and then you heat set the glue, and the glue literally dries out. So if you are sewing on your needle or you're sewing, you're not going to gum up your needle because the Elmer's glue sticks dries up dry. Like, yes, it's wet when you tack it on, but when you heat set it with an iron, it goes dry. So here's my needle, and I only have one thread. So some of you, the reason it's the drag that causes you problems, and I'm going to go here. The way I bind is I get to the very edge, and I'm very level. Let me see if I could get you to see what I'm doing. Trying to get a camera angle that's better. Better. Okay, so if you see, I'm literally parallel to the binding. So I pull through, and then I have my knot. Then what I do, I don't pull through constantly. I go down. Let me see if I can move you here. Move you. I go down. Can you see me? Lorena. I wish I had a videographer. Anybody? Volunteers? Maybe that's better. Is that better? Maybe not. So where I went down, where you go down, you go back down. So I go back down and I go parallel. And then I do 3 stitches. 2, 3, and maybe with a shorter thread. Come on. No. Hold on 1 second. This happens when I do a longer thread, but when I do a shorter thread, well, let me see. Yeah. No, Lorena. Okay, hold on. Now I got it. I usually do shorter threads. So do you see how I pulled it through and it disappears? You don't even see that it's pink thread. You go back down exactly where you came up, and you go exactly parallel, right to the edge of the fabric. And then I go back down exactly where I came, right to the edge of the fabric, and I'll do 3 stitches. And the stitch completely disappears. I just lost that thread. Hold on. Now, if you lose the thread like I did, what I'll do is I'm going to go and use this. I could use blue or red. It doesn't matter. Because I do my stitches, no matter what color I use. Look what I did. No matter what color I use, the stitch disappears into the quilt. And so I get the thread. Oh, let me see. I used to have that little threader. Okay, I'm in. So here's my thread. And then I always tie a knot. Lorena, don't lose the thread. I'm going to take off my thimble. And I only use 1 thread ever. Because I've noticed that, and if you use this so fine thread, this literally runs through the fabric. And if you use that needle from Lori Holt, she has like a little set of needles. If you use her needles, like her needles are the toughest needles. So here's the knot. They don't bend, they don't shift. Like, of course, if you're doing applique, Sometimes they bend. I recommend a thin, you could use a thin embroidery needle, but she has quilting needles that are thin enough. Some of my needles, like I have a whole bunch of them that I resew, they're just beautiful thin, and Lori Holt has like a color coordination. And so I'm gonna go back 3 stitches and restitch where I went down, because I'm gonna have to go, I don't want any loose stitches. And what I do is I will wash the quilt before I give the quilt to anybody to see if my stitches are shifting. Like this kind of thinned out, I guess, when it got stuck. So you see that where I'm pulling, and sometimes you may not see it. So I go back exactly where I came up, and I keep following that line, and I do 3 stitches. When I'm in a corner, I lock in 3 times. 1, and I lock it. 2, and the reason is I lock it here in the corner is because I do not want this fabric to move on me at all. I don't know if the camera's catching it. I'm sorry, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, not if you can see what I'm doing. So now do you see when I folded it over, because I locked the stitches, it doesn't shift on me at all. It stays in that position, and then I grab the back, like the little bit of fabric. Let me see if I could see it. I'll grab a little bit of the fabric and I'll grab it here, and then I'll tug it in, and then I'll make a lock stitch on the bottom end of it. Sharon Chamber, and do you see how beautiful that point is? How clean? I'm trying to get it again. Lock it. Do you see how beautiful that point is? It's a beautiful 90-degree angle in the fabric. And so I go in and I go back up, and then I go down right where I saw myself, and I go back in. The reason is you want this is going to be the place where you get the most wear on a quilt, is your corner. So you want to make sure that you lock it in. Then I'm going to go back and lock stitch. You don't have to do all this, but this is what I do. And then, I think my dog. Now, you could see white thread from the quilting. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to tuck this fabric in. Some fabric tends to fray a lot, so I'm going to tuck it inside the body of the binding. 2, and then 3, and then I pull. Now, I remember my applique teacher used to say, you want it nice and smooth, not laddery, not where you could see where the stitch is. And if you just grab the one side of the thread, you can get some batting when you do it. But this causes your hands not to have so much fatigue, because you're not pulling that big giant thread, and you're not constantly pulling that, you're not constantly pulling the thread constantly. You're not constantly moving your hand, and you stay. Let me see if I can move you. Can you see what I'm doing? Or you do. Come on. Let me move my phone. Sorry, guys. Trying to get you to have a beautiful view. There you are. So here's my thread. I go down in the same spot, and I'm in like parallel. And you notice, even though I use pink thread over here, you don't see it. Now it's pulling up right here because it's not, I ended up kind of tugging it too much. But you see, I'm traveling parallel. That's the trick I learned, because I was going too high, like travel parallel and then grab just a tiny smidge of that binding fabric. And you just saw me like tug the heck out of it and then loosen and let it lay nice and flat. And this is how I do binding. And I'll go sometimes 5 stitches down, sometimes I'll go 3 stitches down. It just depends. And I'm not pulling a lot of thread. Also, too, do not get you can get a big giant piece of thread. I noticed if you could get a thread, see here, if you could get a thread as like maybe, maybe like a 12-inch thread, not necessarily like a big giant pull, because I tend to break the threads, and sorry if my hand's in my way now. Ah! Camera fell on the floor. The camera's like, I'm being abused on her live. Shut up. The camera's like, you are abusing me. Okay, so here. Hopefully I got a view. No, wait. Okay. We're almost done. Okay. So then, here I have a very small piece of thread. What I do, and that's why I have my needle beds, because I don't use a lot of thread. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them already threaded. So like this blue one, it's already threaded. And let me show you what I tend to do. This is like a 6-inch piece of thread. I do tend to have like a 12-inch, maybe an 18-inch piece of thread when I'm doing binding. And then I make a whole bunch of them. I set a whole bunch of needles up with thread and I roll it on the thing. And so sometimes, like I think if I do 4 needles, I'll probably get all the way through one full side and maybe a fourth of another side, depending on how long the thread is. So here, the thread is short. Sometimes I'll push it and I'll make like 2 more stitches and then I'll shorten it. And then what I want to do is I'll grab the needle and I'll make a knot. Right where I came up is right where I go down. And then I make a knot. I may do that 2 times because I want to make sure that this thread doesn't come apart. Like right here. Come on. Come on, Lorena. Get it in. And then I go up the binding and pull. And then I cut. So here you saw another piece of thread. Hold on. That I got ready and I pulled it off my needle bed. I'm going to go ahead and make a knot. Grab it. Pull it. When I start a new line of binding, I go back 3 stitches or 5 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll start again on the back, and I start again rebinding that same area, because sometimes maybe I don't get the knot tight enough or something, or and then I pull the knot through inside the binding. And the reason I do that is because sometimes maybe I didn't knot this and I'm working and I'm tired and it's late. And if I go back and rebind it, then I know that no matter like how I wash it, it's not going to, the binding is not going to pull off or unravel. And so that's the way I lock everything in. Let me show you the back. Let's see. And then look how beautiful. I'm going to show you this. I think this is important. And I've gotten really quick at it. I've had a couple clients ask me to do binding for them, and I always do hand binding. And but the reason, okay, so here where you have that seam, let me see if you can see me. Come on. Where you have that seam, sometimes it's a lot more thread. Can I get it through? Yeah. It's a thicker seam right here. Sometimes I used to go up the seam and lock it down. Sometimes I just do a locking stitch here because it's a weightier. Come on. Lorena, use the needle right. I'll do maybe a locking stitch. Well, I'm already short on thread. Or I'll do smaller stitches for the piece, this heavier fabric, to get laid down better. Hold on, one more. Then I'm going to lock it. But I love this So Fine thread. You could literally buy just one spool, and I recommend if you're going to buy one spool, see if you could find the color taupe, because taupe tends to be able to, see how my needles are? All right, let's see. Let me show you here with me. Come on. Yes, you like my corset, Thimble? Yeah, look, I even have more. I just love these. My dog chewed up this one. My dog loves them too. because it's leather, and I guess they're like, if you want chew toys for your dogs. Hold on. Look, you want to see the boat? Look how beautiful. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. So this is my first boat. Look at my second boat. Look how beautiful that lasering is. And then I made like a little groove here. And the reason I did a groove there, this is too big of a scissor, but I wanted, wait, and these are not the best scissors. I wanted to be able to put my scissors here because there's a magnet here. And then it sits just like that inside that groove. Because what I found when I first created this is the stupid scissors would be like poking out. They would be poking out. They'd still be magnetized to the magnet, but they'd poke out. And so then the scissors would be piercing me. So I thought, you know what? I need to put a groove here. The girl, hold on. Let me get it. Then the girl needs to put a groove here. It has magnets. They're really beautiful magnets. The magnets for the thread. Also too, like, remember I was doing that ribboning and I was using my embroidery needles. And yeah, so that Tula, what is it, her name? This girl. She has, the neat thing about this is look at how beautiful, how many needles she has. All these embroidery needles, chunky needles, applique needles. Sometimes I'll use applique needles to do the binding, but I found that sometimes the needle is so long that I'm moving my hand too much and my hand gets sore. And then you have all these tapestry needles or sewing needles. What I love about these needles is look how small. I don't think that's one of them. Where are you? I want you to see how small the eye of the needle is. Can you see that? It's just so small. And I think this helps the needle just glide so sweetly on that. It just glides through. I recommend these. I love these. As a matter of fact, I need to buy another set. She does have where you could just buy binding needles or tapestry needles. I do not like these big chunky needles because they make big giant holes. I love the applique needles, like especially like this little one, the little ones, because I'm not moving my hands, but look how fine. And you know, when you see applique, people do applique and you're like, you can't even see the stitches. It's because it's because of this beautiful fine needle. And these are my tools. Like, I love this. My best recommendation. If you're going to do applique or binding, now these are things that I've made that are mine. Like, I made my thimbles, my corset thimbles. I don't know, guys. Should I even sell these on Etsy? One fits all. You have to wet. Like, this one didn't fit me. I have very big fingers. I make them kind of small. And then you wet the inside of them. And then you put your finger into the corset, and sometimes it was so small I had to stretch it. You could stretch it, and then as you let it dry with your skin, it literally just forms to your finger. And I've tested them out like crazy, like how crazy. Because here I lasered on the bottom part, and I found out that that's not good. You want a thicker area. I lasered here, and the laser kind of disappears. I've lasered flowers on them. I lasered names on them, on some of them. I give these away to my clients, believe it or not. I just bless my clients. You're my client, I bless you. I'll give you, I have a friend who's doing binding for me. So I was going to make her a corset. I was going to make her one of these little boats that I created. I made one with a beautiful sewing machine. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to focus. Come on. I made one that had a beautiful sewing machine, and I had my name on it. But the sewing machine had so much details that it was so fragile, I was afraid to glue it. I made this one bigger. Oh, no. Sorry. I'll be better. I'll get better. I promise. I made this one so small If you could see, the first one I made it kind of small. This one I made bigger. I didn't want it too big that it took up so much space. I made it bigger so that I had room to like, and I also have 2 more rods that I could put here on the 2 more rods. Hold on, let me see. I could put 2 more rods so I could use, anyway, I could use like a regular thread spool if I wanted to, but I use my little Bob's Donut bobbins. They last forever. Which one is this one? Make sure if you ever want to buy any of these that you're getting so fine thread. One time I bought a set of these and it was a totally different type of thread, and the thread was just like, the thread was falling apart, to be honest. But anyway, let's see. It's all right, let's see. Yes, I should sell them. I don't know how much. I don't know. Anyway, I love the boat. I'm right now testing the boat. What I thought was really neat when I created this little boat thing, I was like, oh my God, I make like a whole, like, the corset, the needle bed. I had created the bow. I was like, oh, it's a whole like little sewing kit. Ay, Lorena. But yes, so what do you think? Let me show you the binding. God, that dog smells like that. Okay, let me show you how beautiful this binding looks. And let me show you what the binding looks back in the back. Now, Sharon Chamber said that if you want your quilt to be award-winning, that you need to have a 90 degree. When you lay it down, they lay it down. They want to see a 90 degree angle. Let me see if I could get you on this camera here. Hold on. Where is it focusing? Okay, it's focusing on this over here, so I need to move it. So you want to see that 90 degree angle. She says that you may have the most beautiful, magnificent quilt, but if they turn the quilt over and it's not a true 90 degree, that you will not place well. Maybe your quilt is like, and sometimes we don't think about things like that, right? We're thinking the beautiful outside, the beautiful quilt top, we're thinking, but things that may not matter to you matter to a judge. And having a beautiful 90 degree, and look how beautiful that miter is. Okay, I have an Etsy shop. It's Lorena by Cadena. Lorena by Cadena. And I was going to, I just need to take pictures of everything and put it online. But yes, but how much would I sell it? I don't know what to sell it for. I just like making. I'm ridiculous. I don't know what to sell it for. Oh, I also have lasered beautiful tumblers. For some people, let's see. So yeah, thank you. I mean, what do you think? Did this take forever? How many times? We've been here 3 hours. But yes, I think your boat is awesome. I was thinking of making it a sailboat, like where it had a sail on one side and on the other side, and then the scissors would sit inside the sail. And I just need to draw it out on the laser, kind of like on the computer program, and then create it, because like this was my first idea. This was my first idea, and then I loved it. I just felt like it was a little bit small, and then the scissors were hitting me, and then I was like, you know what, I wonder if I do it with a different wood, and then I did it kind of like more angular. I felt like I should have made this taller, like so that if I have a thread spool, I still have room to kind of like maneuver down here. They're really easy to build and to make. I also made like the little hole that hits the circle. Anyway, I don't know. I was really depressed, to be honest. I was really discouraged, like really discouraged by some of the things that have been happening. And making this like made my day. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I fit the needle bed in here. And I was like, my God, that's just like the best idea. It fit inside perfectly. I even had to sand it. I don't know. I don't know. It's been fun. It really perked me up. It really encouraged me. It really kind of got me out of my head. And then I started using it. My husband's like, "You're going to go back there right now?" I go, "Yes, I'm going to use my needle bed." Like another corset thimble. Isn't that beautiful? And honestly, they're so comfortable. I don't want it for the belt. $10, $15 for the belt, $8 for the corset. I was thinking maybe awesome, maybe change its name. Which one? On the boat? What would you call this? A sewing caddy? I want to create it into a boat. Because I could, anyway, no, that'd be stupid. That's a lot of wood. This is my brain. But it brought me a lot of joy. If I want to be honest, making things, creating things brings me so much joy. Oh, Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue. If you glue it, you want me to show you how I glue it? You could glue it and then tack it down. So if you have issues where you're rolling this down and like, you know, your hands are hurting rolling it, use Elmer's glue, put it on this, roll it over. Do you guys want to see that? Sewing helper? But yes, Elmer's glue. Yeah, I do have some up here. But you could literally roll it over, heat set it, and then tack it. Sharon Shambert uses regular white glue to do it. I feel Elmer's sewing glue is better. So anyway, all right, let's see. I'm going to let you go. I've had you here too long. You need to be with your family. I apologize for taking so much time. But some of you asked me about the binding. And but look how beautiful. The different colors. You don't even notice. And I think tonight I'll probably be hand binding and just enjoying myself, watching Netflix or YouTube or whatever is going on. And then I'll be hand binding it. And then if I come here, tomorrow I have a client coming. Tomorrow I have a client coming. And what I think I'll do after I'm with her, I'm supposed to do an embroidery job. Hopefully I'll do the embroidery job. And it's a huge embroidery job. When I do that embroidery job, maybe I'll hang out with y'all. Would y'all want to see embroidery? I think Binding Buddy is taken. I don't know. I just wanted to be original because I don't want to have copyright issues. I had a couple content creators here wanting to steal my ideas. I don't know, it's hard. But I think because someone was saying that it's better not to get in patent. As long as I post videos on here and you guys are seeing what I'm creating, if someone creates it before, and I've posted it before time, I have copyrights to it because I've published a video of what I've created. So if anybody decides, well, I'm going to do what Lorena says she's doing and I'm going to copy her, and it's happened. It's annoying, but it's happened. I have a right to sue them because I've already published a video before they created that item. And I literally have measurements the day the idea happened. Like I have everything. And there's a poor man copyright where you could send yourself a letter of what you created. So that kind of becomes a patent or a copyright to something. Anyway, it's whatever. People are going to do whatever they want to do. But have a wonderful day. Good night, everybody. He says, make it set, your boat, your rulers, thread and needles. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I may start right now, like the thimbles, I may put them on Etsy. The only thing is I figured out some people may want them painted or colored. I think I'm going to just have a set of just thimbles that are plain. And if you want a custom color or custom design, then I could change it. I don't know. We'll see. Do I really want to do that? Do I really want to deal with that? But I love making them. I really do. Have a wonderful day. And I'm working on the binding for y'all. Just some of you, it's going to take me a little bit to get the binding done. I appreciate you and I love you. You want to see the quilt that we finished though? Other than the binding on this one? Hold on. Let me turn you around real quick. I'm like, I'm gonna let you go. It's time. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Do not mess up on me, stupid camera. Look how beautiful. No, let's focus on the focus on the focus on the quilt. Maybe I'll go look. Focus on the quilt. Look how beautiful it came out. I mean, I appreciate you and I love you and I thank you for your time. We've been here for a long time. I love you. Bye.